Here is a moment when you look at someone, your friend, your colleague, perhaps even yourself, and wonder, what are they hiding? They are here, physically present, but their eyes suggest they've traveled vast, unmapped distances. This is not simple introversion. This is a person who lives in a world you cannot see. Meet Elara. To her co-workers, she's quiet. But in her mind, the silence isn't empty. It's a furious, beautiful storm, a constant, relentless inquiry into the nature of everything. They see the surface. She's navigating a reality dense with hidden meanings. This is the architecture of the deep thinker. This is not a choice, but a fundamental characteristic of their mind, recognized in psychology as high trait introspection. It's the tendency to analyze not only what happens around them, but also what happens inside them. Most people think too much thinking leads to confusion, but for a deep thinker, thinking is breathing. It's how they process existence. They don't just see a tree, they see how it's rooted in the soil, how its life mirrors their own in unseen ways. They are constantly scanning for meaning, asking why not to be difficult, but because why feels like oxygen. The neurological signature of this trait lies in the default mode network, DMN. This system of regions, located across the prefrontal and parietal cortices, is often referred to as the brain's rest state. Yet, for the deep thinker, it is anything but restful. It is the engine that runs when the external world fades, the primary hub for self-reflection and imagination. It is the brain's silent headquarters. This constant DMN activity fuels metacognition, the thinking about thinking. Deep thinkers live inside this loop. It allows them to mentally map their inner terrain, analyzing love, ambition, desire, and fear to understand why they feel what they feel. They are always watching their own thoughts from the outside, questioning them and rearranging them. This is what makes them excellent diagnosticians of the human condition, starting with their own. This hyper-awareness, however, often makes them prone to self-doubt, because when you see everything in high definition, you see all your flaws too. The DMN's hyperconnectivity, the speed and volume of information flowing through it, is the same feature that sparks creativity. Many of history's most influential thinkers, from Einstein to Da Vinci, were deep thinkers. They saw the invisible threads that connect ideas, looked at problems from angles no one else did. They are excellent diagnosticians of the human condition. Their mind never stops asking why, and so they stumble upon answers others miss. But this profound capability is also linked to heightened tendencies toward rumination in clinical contexts. The deep thinker's mind can become an echo chamber. They replay events, dissect every sentence, and wonder what someone meant. Their mind becomes a loop of what-ifs. This isn't malicious self-punishment, it's the mind seeking resolution. However, when the search for meaning spirals into a frustrating, repetitive search for closure that may not exist, they often lose the simple joy of just being. They forget that not everything needs to be understood. The deep thinker lives in a world of complex, shifting light, yet society rewards simple black and white certainties. This mismatch creates the defining social challenge of their life, the burden of clarity. We live in a world that rewards speed, productivity, and certainty. Pausing to reflect can look like hesitation. Complexity can look like confusion. They often learn to hide their depth, nodding along politely while their thoughts wander galaxies away. In a digital age governed by speed and instant commentary, the deep thinker's need for precision is seen as an inconvenience. They pause before they speak because they are filtering multiple scenarios, weighing the ethical, emotional, and logical consequences. The pause is mistaken for disinterest or doubt, and sometimes, by the time they are ready, the conversation has already moved on. This sociological reality suggests society often unconsciously resists profound thought because their insights challenge the established, comfortable narrative. They often withdraw from small talk because it demands energy for superficial engagement while their mind is craving substantive material. This isn't social arrogance, it's a sensory overload. Surface-level chatter feels exhausting because while most people swim in the shallows of daily life, deep thinkers are diving for pearls. They crave meaningful conversations, ones that dive below small talk into fears, dreams, and the true architecture of the human heart. Where the average person experiences emotion as a mood, the deep thinker experiences it as data. Their high introspection means they feel with a granularity that is both a source of profound empathy and intense pain. Their emotions move like quiet waves beneath the surface, unseen but powerful. They can sense tension in a room, notice when someone's smile doesn't reach their eyes, and feel the heaviness of things unsaid. They process the world like a detective of emotion. This deep capacity for empathy leads to emotional complexity, the simultaneous experience of mixed emotions. They don't just see sadness, they sense the root of the wound, the history of the experience. They understand that joy and grief, beauty and loss, are two inseparable notes in the same human song. They don't label emotions as good or bad. They see them as information. Fear tells them what matters. Sadness reveals what they value. They literally think and feel at the same time. This is the point of separation, the difference between overthinking and true existential inquiry. Overthinking is worrying about the future. Deep thinking is questioning reality itself, about time, purpose, and consciousness. Suffering is information. Because they see patterns in everything, they can find meaning even in pain, which is what ultimately gives them resilience. They seek awareness, not closure. The deepest thinkers must learn to anchor their mind. They often walk alone, not because they're lonely, but because solitude is their native language. It is the necessary sanctuary where they detox from the emotional data of the world. Alone, they reset. They journal, reflect, and untangle thoughts. It's restoration, not loneliness. Solitude is the workshop where rumination is transformed into reflection, and where clarity finally lives. The final lesson Alara learned was the purpose of the mind is not to dissect life, but to enrich it. The deepest irony is that the mind, which relentlessly searches for every answer, must eventually find peace in the lack of certainty. Meaning, no matter how much we chase it, is something we create, not something we find. She realized true depth is not about drowning in thought, but seeing clearly enough to float. It's the powerful acceptance that not every question has an answer, and still feeling complete. This is the moment thinking becomes wisdom. In the end, deep thinkers are bridges. They connect cold logic with warm empathy, sharp intellect with deep intuition. They can analyze pain and still hold compassion for it. This is your truth. You might not always fit in, but you were never meant to. You were meant to see through, to turn chaos into clarity, and noise into insight. Don't apologize for your silence. Don't shrink your thoughts to fit smaller conversations. The world desperately needs the things you notice, because deep thinking isn't just a way of understanding life. It is a way of honoring it. And depth in a shallow world? That is its own kind of necessary light.